Hello and welcome to the Cold Coffee Club, a podcast brought to you by Houston Moms. We're here to give you a little bit of that mom-to-mom connection, fun, and conversation amidst all the chaos. Join us as we take a break from doing all the things and explore the wide spectrum of this crazy motherhood role. We'll interview fun guests, talk about cool grown-up topics, laugh, share, and grow together. So go ahead, reheat that coffee, and put your feet up. Here we go.
Good morning. Welcome to the Cold Coffee Club. This is Jenny.
Good morning. This is Ashley. Hey.
Hey. All right. Do you have any tea for us today?
Surprise, I am not at home. I am in Oklahoma recording. I'm visiting my sorority sisters. This week was our Delta-versary in our sorority, and we just turned 13. And so we decided,
teenagers.
I know, look at us. And so I decided, I'm gonna just head up there and see everybody. On my way, I did stop at Buc-ee's because you have to. And I have been wanting a Buc-ee's swimsuit forever, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to commit to that. I'm like, I'm 35. Do I want a Buc-ee's swimsuit? Do I really want to do that? And I do. It turns out I do. And so
I love that.
I bought a bright red Buc-ee's swimsuit with the beaver all over, and I am excited to rock that this summer.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. Is it a red swimsuit?
It is.
Girl, you're gonna look amazing. I'm excited for you.
I'm so pumped. I'm gonna take all the pictures because it's gonna be fun, and my kids are gonna cringe, and it's gonna be fine, and we're gonna laugh about it. Good times.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, my tea is I spent the weekend at another dance competition because 'tis the season. So that's what I did all weekend long. I was in a high school out in Conroe, like walking the halls of a high school all weekend. And, I was with a bunch of little girls and all my mom friends, and it was a good time. But that was, my microphone just fell over. But no, we had a good time, and we won second place in one of the big categories. We were excited. So
that's awesome. And I loved your videos on Instagram of you showing us like your trunk and all your stuff and the pop-up stuff.
I'm sorry. It's the glamour gear.
Oh my gosh.
It's glamour gear.
Mm-hmm. It is. You have all the things, and it is like the coolest setup. You are ready, and I love it.
Now, and granted, we have accumulated those things over time. Like each year we've gotten like little pieces here and there, and whatever. But it's a whole thing.
You are in it to win it, and I love it.
We really are.
All right, share your cream and sugar this week.
So my cream and sugar is something I'm loving, or maybe even a little bit not loving, is that I watched the Love is Blind finale Sunday night. I was so excited to come home from this competition and watch Love is Blind, the reunion. And if you watch Love is Blind, you know that the reunion did not air when it was supposed to air. They had hyped up this big live finale, and then something happened. But let me tell you how I watched it. I guess somehow like an hour and a half delay, there was some people in some parts of the country that were able to see it. Now we here in Houston, no, not us. But I was like scrolling through TikTok, and some girl, it was on her TV, like her TV was working. Wow. So she held up her phone and live streamed from her phone. Like she was filming her TV in her living room from her phone. And she had like 30,000 people watching her live stream of her like living room television. And it was hysterical because like we're all watching the reunion in her living room. On her phone. And people are like, thank you. It's like drop your Venmo, queen. Like people
that's amazing. She did the whole thing.
She filmed the whole, she just sat there with her phone up, filming her living room TV, and 30,000 people were like, "You're amazing, we love you!" Like
my
this total stranger. Total stranger.
So fun. That's so cool.
It was like the whole community were like, yeah, and everyone was like, I'm gonna Venmo you $5. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. It's hilarious. And I did not watch this season of Love is Blind, and I'm going to, but the pandemonium was real. I saw all the
It was
trending
insane.
stuff. I was like, oh, y'all are big mad. Okay.
Well, they were like, they kept telling us it's going to be live.
Yeah.
And then it was like, just never mind, it's not live. But it's like, we've all gathered here.
Right. People are like, I ordered food. I like sent the kids to bed. I'm ready.
Yeah. People had parties.
Oh my gosh. I love that brought everyone together, and then like everyone.
And then on top of it, the reunion just wasn't very good. Like they didn't do a good job on it. So, and then it was like, so we have all that, and then like we're all annoyed with what the content was. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Oh wow.
But it was fun to be a part of it.
There's a part of me that is upset that I missed this moment.
Yes.
But that's fine. I love that for y'all.
The collective anger.
Yes. I'm like, oh, I wish I was mad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's so fun.
Today's episode of the Cold Coffee Club is brought to us by Vivaldi Music Academy. Vivaldi Music Academy offers private music lessons in piano, violin, cello, guitar, voice, and group lessons in guitar and voice, ensemble lessons in jazz ensemble, classical ensemble, and rock band, and early childhood music development. Their goal is to foster confidence and creativity in students of all ages through exceptional musical learning. Vivaldi Music Academy is celebrating 10 years with their dedicated world-class faculty, state-of-the-art facilities, and innovative programs that transform lives and bolster our community with the joy of music. Vivaldi has locations all over Houston in Bel Air, Memorial, Sugar Land, West U, and they are thrilled to announce their brand new location that just opened this month in the Heights at 1009 Yale. For more information, visit the link in our show notes. All right, back to the show.
Okay.
So today we're talking about potty training, which full disclosure, Ashley and I have been out of this game for a little bit. In fact, I went back into my Instagram story highlights because I was like, I feel like if I scroll way back, I feel like I made a highlight on this in my personal Instagram stories, and I did. And it was 242 weeks ago is what it told me. So it's been a bit.
It's been a bit. Yeah.
But potty training is something that we all experience as mothers. Every single one of us. It's inescapable. Or if it's not, like we all have to deal with just kids using, whether it's diapers or whatever, it's hard. So if you're in the thick of it, or if you're coming up on it, they say that summer is a really great time to start this.
Yes.
process.
Absolutely. Letting those kiddos run around naked, it is like the best way to start the process. And when it's summertime, and just like, oh, it just makes sense. You're outside playing and, you have like a sprinkler or whatever. That was how we started our process. And it was like, just go potty somewhere in the grass. It's like, oh, I have to go. Good. We are making moves. This is great.
Yeah. Well, and also they're wearing less clothing in the summer. It's just like in the winter, you might have jackets and bigger pants and like all these things. And it's like, it's just so easier to shed clothing fast if you're in a hurry. And it's just easier. So
yeah, we I did do like the method of having like the little potty, the baby potty, and like moving it around the house to wherever it made sense for it to be. Like typically it was in the living room or something. It's like, yeah, we're watching a show, but you have to go potty. And we would put a sticker in it and like aim for the sticker. And that was always fun. That was like a moment that everyone enjoyed. Like I shot the sticker. Like, oh, good for you.
Yeah. So before we like kind of dive in, I do want to ask, like, do you have like a mommy horror story from your potty training like years? Do you have a horror story?
Yeah. So the only horror story that comes to mind is like my youngest he's technically still potty training. We're working through getting through the night without accidents. And so he's still in pull-ups. I have had that moment where it's like we were out and about in the evening and he falls asleep in the car, and without thinking to put a pull-up on him, I just put him in his jammies and put him to bed, not even thinking, change his underwear into pull-ups. And Of course he has an accident. Like, of
Mhm.
course he does. And you can't get mad, but it's just like that mess. That mess. And it's just like in the, you have
Mhm.
that like little waterproof pad thingy, and that's
Right.
great. But still having to strip the bed, having to have your preschooler or kindergartner like come knock on your door like, I peed. Like,
Yes.
of
You're
course
like,
you did, baby.
yeah,
I'm so
I know.
sorry. That's my fault.
Yes.
What about
That's
you?
hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
ours was more like, a few weeks ago I was at like a restaurant and there was like an outdoor play place thing and there was a dad that was holding his little girl and he like
Mhm.
hollered at his wife across the outdoor restaurant like, "Did you bring an extra pair of pants?" And I started laughing because I was like, "Oh man, like I remember those days."
Mhm.
And I was remembering that we once were on like a little weekend getaway, like just around Texas. We weren't
Yeah.
far. But Ellie had already been fully potty trained. I think she was like 3, and like we had kind of like, we're kind of taking a breather where you weren't so like running to the back. She was really good about telling us.
Mhm.
Like she was like had gotten really used to it, and it had been a long time since we had had an accident.
Yeah.
Um, and so we were like outside at this like hotel, and suddenly like we were like, "What's that smell?" And it was like, "What?" And we didn't have anything like on hand because like we were just like
No.
taking a walk outside. So I was like, we're gonna have to walk through the lobby of this hotel. And like she was just in underwear. And I was mortified. And also we were kind of like, what in the world? Like you didn't even tell us. Like you didn't say, like, "Excuse me, I need to get." And like, she looked
Oh.
so upset. And anyway, what made me feel more bad about it was the next day I found out she had like a major stomach bug. Like she was
Oh.
sick. Like it wasn't just like a
Poor
normal thing
thing.
that just came out. Like I think she was actually ill. But
Yeah.
we were like, what is wrong? Like, we were just
Yeah.
because
Oh
when
my
you kind of
gosh.
get into the rhythm of it, you're like, okay, well, I think we're good.
We're
And
good.
then
Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh
yeah,
my
we
gosh.
were just standing outside of this beautiful hotel, like, "Ma'am, excuse me,
Your child.
did you forget to share?" Um, and she had this face of like, I don't know. I don't know.
I
I don't
will
know what
say,
happened.
speaking of traveling, this was pre-potty training, but this story comes to mind that I was traveling to visit family in North Carolina, and it was back when we had 2 kids, and so Oliver was good to go. Things were great. Maverick was a baby. He had a blow up diaper.
Oh,
And so
the worst.
yes, and we had like cheap disposable diapers just to like travel with. And it blows up. I have to like take off his clothes. This happens on the plane. And I didn't
No.
pack extra clothes. And we had bought Oliver a t-shirt from like North Carolina, and we had to put it on Maverick. It obviously was too big. So this poor little baby, he's like 4 months old, was wearing this
Yes.
big t-shirt. We're like, just leave
Yep.
us alone. We're just trying to get home. I
It's what
don't,
it is,
yeah, leave us
man.
alone. It's fine. And
Where we're
he's just
at.
hanging out. Yeah, good times.
Oh, it was always fun when like they were like in preschool and I'd show up to preschool to pick them up at the end of the day and they were wearing a different
Yes.
outfit than I
You're like,
brought
oh,
them in. You're
what
like,
happened?
"Oh, hi.
We had a
That's
day, didn't
not that's
we?
not the shirt that the shorts that they arrived in. Look
Yep.
at you."
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, so, and I will say, you're talking about you have 3 boys and I have a boy and a girl. And so
Mhm.
it was, I will say, just like the mechanics of
Mhm.
potty training the girl versus the boy
Yes.
was just very different.
Yeah.
You're talking about aim for the sticker. We absolutely did that with Jack, but
Mhm.
with Ellie, it's just a different,
Yeah.
it's mechanically a little bit of a
Exactly.
different situation.
Exactly.
But
And
we did that.
my kids always struggled with like, I want to stand because that's what big boys do. And I'm like, it's okay to sit down. It's fine. And
We're
just
just
like
going to
seeing,
start with the seating. We're just
yes,
gonna.
and seeing them like on the step stool in front of the potty, like trying. And I'm like, oh, honey. Oh no, you can just sit. It's fine.
So, and one thing we started doing was yes, I did what you did where I put the potty chair in the living room and they would just honestly, when the first like day or 2 of potty training my kids, I would just like have them sit on that and watch a show.
Mhm.
because it would just happen naturally as they were sitting and experience the like, look, you did it. Like, because like I think Ellie had a hard time. Ellie kept thinking she would like TT in the potty, and then she would go, I made a mess. And I would be like, no, this is what we want you to do.
Right.
Like, she could not fathom that I wanted her to do this. Like, she just like could not even believe it. Yeah. I would be like, no, yay. You know, like, so like just getting her to understand, like, and so I needed it to happen without her even consciously knowing it was going to happen. And so like, but having her just sit there, and I would put on like Sophia the First back then, and she would sit and watch that. But before we forgot to talk about, I want to share a couple like signs of readiness.
Yeah.
And I'm getting this from a really great Instagram account called Potty Training Consultant. And she shares such great content, not only about like this, like signs of readiness, but like what to do if there's regression, or if you need to take a break, and boys versus girls and nighttime. And so she's such great info. But she shares like developmentally, you know, if your child has basic communication skills, an ability to understand simple directions, mimicking the actions of adults, an eagerness to please, and just a good grasp on motor skill, gross motor skills. And then potty related, do they have a general interest in the bathroom? Like, is that, do they kind of like, do they seem interested in doing that?
Yeah.
Do they stay dry for longer periods of the day? Are they waking up from their naps dry, and even overnight sometimes dry?
Yeah.
Do they ask for a clean diaper? That's a big one. Like, are they like, hey, can we help out here?
Yeah.
Do they tell you when they are going or when they have gone? Like, do they alert you? Like, hey, I went potty. And another big one is, do they hide from you when they are from everyone when they're pooping? Like, is that a little bit of a thing?
That was always like a thing that fascinated me. I was a nanny for a while before I was a mom, and I'm like, where's this kid going? Like, just toddle off and hide under the kitchen table. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So those are, and that doesn't mean like if those things are happening that you must start immediately, but those are just some signs that you might need to start thinking about that they might be ready.
Yeah. When my kiddos were little, we cloth diapered, and I feel like that kind of benefited us in a way, just because the difference between cloth diapers and traditional disposable diapers is the disposable ones kind of absorb things so much faster. And so my kids would notice like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Like, I actually want this to stop, and I don't want to do this anymore. I was like, well, this is kind of interesting. And so my kids started just noticing like, I'm not comfortable being wet, and I don't want to sit in this, and I certainly don't want to sit in like mess. So that's when it was just like, okay, it's time to jumpstart going ahead and trying potty training. It's funny how, you know, I have the same gender of children, and they all kind of experienced it a little bit differently. Well, one of my children got frustrated with diapers because he accidentally peed on himself, because I forgot to like cover him up when I was changing his diaper, and he's like, yeah, this is nonsense. I don't like that stuff. He shot himself in the face, and I'm like, yeah, that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun, was it? And he's like, I want this to stop immediately.
Another trick that I have heard that people have done is go to Target, Walmart, whatever, go to Amazon and buy underwear that has their favorite character on it. So if your kid is really into Little Mermaid or really into Paw Patrol, you know, whatever, most of their little shows, you can find underwear that has their character on it, and just say like, well, we can't get TT or we can't get poop on Princess Jasmine. Like, we can't do that. And that will just like kind of help them, you know, be like, oh, we have to keep these like kind of clean.
Yeah.
And so like, that's a fun way to kind of like make them participate in it a little bit. And also just like, I was always just quick to like make sure my kids had really easy clothes that they could get on, you know, use an elastic band, nothing with a button or a zipper to get on and off. And then another thing, I had little kids that could not get onto toilets by themselves. So make sure you have stools ahead of time, buy those. And when I would go out to public places, I would put sticky notes, like Post-it notes in my bag
Mhm.
to cover the sensor.
Yes. Yep. We had stickers,
Because
but
those
yeah.
things, when they would
It's
just flush,
terrifying.
it's
Oh,
terrifying.
poor
And it's like,
things.
whoosh, you know, and they're like,
Like I'm standing here.
like, I haven't finished yet. So we
Yeah.
would cover that up. So for sure.
That is, I love it. That's super smart. Yeah, we kind of had a routine like, okay, we've had a snack. Now let's go potty. Kind of making it consistent definitely really helped us.
Yeah.
You know, first thing when you wake up, first thing after a meal, first thing after a snack, first thing after nap, and then like right before bed. And my kids still are like, I cut off liquids at a certain point, and they're just like, Mom, we've got this now. And I'm like, yeah, but it just makes things easier. You know, sometimes you're dreaming that you're at the potty.
Yep.
And accidents happen. I'm like, it's
a real
fine,
thing.
you know, it happens. Yeah,
it's a real
that
thing.
Consistency is key, but also understanding that regression does happen. It happens if there's like a certain phase that your child is in, if they're, you know, soaring in something else, sometimes certain skills that you might have thought were mastered at that point, you know, regress, and being understanding about that and knowing that it does happen and it is completely normal, but remaining consistent in that will definitely save you some stress. So yeah, it's potty training is I don't want to go back to that. No. I'm glad we're past it, but I think, you know, it was such a fun learning experience, just kind of seeing how my kids figured it out and like how this works. And my kids have so many questions in the bathroom about like, you're different. And how come we do this and you're this? And I'm like, you know what? Okay. You know, potty training did open a lot of doors.
My dad told me a story once that he was in a public bathroom and he was in like a, you know, there's urinals or it was, and I'm sorry, there were no urinals. It was stalls only for whatever reason. Yeah. But he was in a stall and a dad had to bring a little, it was one of these things where like he had a little girl with him that you can't leave her alone out there. So he had to bring a little girl and he told her like, just face the wall. Like, you know, like it's one of those things. He brings this little girl in. And the dad's like, you stay over here. And the dad goes to do his business. And my dad was like in a stall. And he hears the little girl go, how come him's feet's pointing that way? And the man's like, you worry about yourself. Because he has these little girls. They're like, why are you facing that way? Yeah. Him's feet. How come him's feet's pointing that way? This is confusing.
Oh my gosh. That is the cutest thing. I have heard families like go into the restroom together, and it's so sweet when they're working on potty training. And, you know, I am not above any kind of bribing to help potty training. Any kind of reward system, do that. Do whatever works for you. And this whole family, it was like boys and girls. I think the mom had like 4 kids, and they went into like the like handicap stall, and the youngest went potty, and they had a whole celebration in that stall. And they were like,
oh my gosh,
Dad, look at you. It was so fun. And like,
I would have joined
like,
driving. Yeah, you did it. Yeah, for sure.
So
it is so exciting when they get it.
Yes.
It's so exciting when they get it. I mean, I remember, I jumped for joy because both of my kids got TT real fast, but it took them they would hold number 2 for a while. Yeah. Like they were just like, I cannot do that. Like that was very upsetting.
Yeah. And I think also kind of helping your children understand that it's okay to take breaks to go potty. I know when I was a kid, I enjoyed playing outside so much that I didn't want to go inside to go to the bathroom. And I'd be like 5 playing with the kids outside, and I would end up, you know, wetting my pants because I was having such a good time. And kind of just, I think kids sometimes have a hard time just realizing like how urgent it is. Like, oh, no, I can wait. And so kind of just reminding them or getting them used to like, hey, just go do it real quick. Let's not wait till the last minute. Because
it's just, like the cause and effect of that.
Right.
Like, hey, like you can't hold it that long. And
then
suddenly
and
you're like,
playtime will still be there when you get back. Jenny, what is your house blend for this week?
My house blend was written by Chris, and it is about everything you need to know about summer swim teams. I was not a swim team kid growing up, but they are so popular in my area, and it's overwhelming to me just how many days a week it is when summer first starts, and they're really early, and I just feel like there's so much I don't know. It's a lot. I don't understand the whole world of it. So if you are like me and you need like a 101 on summer swim teams, we have a link in our show notes to that. So everything you need to know about summer swim teams.
Basically, this is Chris's post is like what Jenny is for dance. That's what it is.
Oh, I should write one of those.
Yes, you absolutely should.
Okay.
So my house blend this week is the VBS guide. It was just updated for this year, and it is perfection. It has all the locations, like areas that you need to be looking in, and you can just fill up your summer calendar with VBS fun. And I love that.
And most of them are free. Like
most of them are free.
And if they're not free, they're not expensive. I mean, none of them are $100. Like they're cheap. So
yes. Yep. So if you were a later tater about doing summer camps, VBS is still an option. Check it out. So let's wrap it up with a see you later caffeinator. Just a note that bedwetting is super common, even in older children. Kids have accidents at night long past they achieve their daytime dryness, and 22% of children are still wetting the bed at night at age 3. And 10% are still wetting the bed by age 7, which I didn't notice how long it could last. And I think some parents get discouraged. You know, if you have a kiddo who's potty trained during the day, and it's taking a little while to get that nighttime potty training, it's easy to get discouraged, and it's tough. And this statistic shows that children can't stay dry at night until they start producing a hormone that signals their body to stop making urine at night. And this doesn't happen until it happens. So there's really no timeline. There's no specific, benchmark for where your kids need to be. It just kind of comes as they mature. It will come, but understanding that it does happen and it might take a while is encouraging to most of us parents.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and moms, please know, like, we want to encourage you. Like, it is hard and it is daunting and it's frustrating, and sometimes it's just like, if I have to wipe this up one more time, if I have to, I mean, we're with you, and we understand. So
absolutely,
you're doing a great job.
Keep it up, mamas.
Really great job.
Keep it up.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Cold Coffee Club, brought to you by Houston Moms. We wish you a fabulous week with your families and look forward to sharing many more cups of cold coffee with you.